Wait, the comments come through with what? Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to another chilling, another hour of the 24-hour podcast. This is hour 5. I am one of your hosts, Kinte, all the way live from Los Angeles, California. Watch, you about to hear an echo. Chilling. Chilling. Sorry about that. That's the only way I know how to do this. I am so happy to be here, and I'm joined by my co-host, Jen. How you doing, Jen?
I'm doing pretty awesome. It's quite a bit earlier for me than it is for you guys, so everything's good.
Yeah, I know, man. I want to live in the past.
Hey, I am not living in the past. I am living comfortably. Yeah, I guess I'm living in the past. Okay, fine.
But wait a minute. What time is it where you are?
It is 11:07 p.m. on the 18th of January.
Oh.
Wait, where do you live? What state?
In the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Oh, never mind. Okay, that makes sense. Because I'm in New York. I'm like, what the hell is she talking about?
She lives on Lost Island with the smoke monster.
Yes, I live on Lost Island. That's exactly
literally
right.
She does. Okay, so tonight we're also joined by Lauren. How you doing?
Hey, what's up?
And Joshua.
Hi.
You know, when you say Joshua, it sounds like, you sound like, innocent, choir boy, Joshua.
Because I am. It's all true.
But it's funny, though, if and it's biblical, right, Joshua?
It is.
But if you say, like, Malachi, it sounds evil and, take him to the cornfield,
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, that was the name of the anti-Undertaker, dressed all in white, almost looked albino.
Right. So that's funny how some biblical names are, angelic, and other names are, like, if you name your kid Pontius, that's probably not a good look.
Listen, you cannot fool. You can't fool me. Pilot. One of my kids' name is Joshua, and he was the hellion.
Ah!
So no, I'm not having any.
He was like Damien, huh?
Yeah, Damien on steroids.
Hey, what's up, Leah and Maya, and still rocking with us?
Also, I feel like it's the unassuming names that tend to be the worst, because you think they're going to be so calm and gentle and sweet, and that just never seems to work. I say that you name your kid some fiery, crazy name and just get it out of the way.
It's 10 a.m. in Denmark.
Ooh.
Something rotten in Denmark, by the way. Okay, so today, we're on this hour, we're talking about movies that are coming in 2020. And before we do that, I seen 2 movies recently in the last 2 days. I saw Bad Boys 3. And has anyone seen it?
No.
Look,
I have not seen it yet.
It's really freaking good.
Yeah, I know I'm going to see it. Probably, we had a snowstorm thingish right now, so I might see it Monday.
It's funny as hell.
Because I know they just announced, I looked at before I got on this, they were already planning 4. So I was like, if they're planning 4, this must have did really well.
Yeah, it was funny. And Martin Lawrence was hilarious in this movie. Had me crying, man. It's funny. It started out a little rocky, but then it really picks up, and it's good. It's very entertaining. I mean, is it highbrow entertainment? No, but it's, it gives you what you want, right? So
you want lowbrow entertainment when you got time for thinking intellectually about jokes or situations, really.
Right. Unless I'm listening to Joshua do his jokes.
I can't listen to you say that without thinking of Russell Crowe in Gladiator, asking me if I'm not entertained.
You know what? I like Russell Crowe. in Gladiator.
That's about all that I like him in.
Hey, Beautiful Mind, Master Commander.
I knew I opened a can of worms.
The Insider.
The back up. I did like him in L.A. Confidential.
L.A. Confidential, great freaking movie. But we're talking about movies of 2020.
Yeah, I know.
But no, it's my fault. But I just saw the movie Marriage Story. Have y'all seen that?
Yes.
Nope, not yet.
Great fucking movie, man.
Wait, you went and saw The Marriage Story?
No, on Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Oh, yeah, it is. I don't watch that shit, but
no.
What did you think?
Great.
I saw that scene, and then I was like, people were like gushing about that scene. I'm like,
man, that's a good movie, man. Kylo Ren really did a great job. He did. You know what? I might be low key becoming a nerd
because he fucked up his knee on a biking accident, has remorse, and all that shit. Because I saw that talk and the whole thing I went through.
I'm low key becoming a nerd. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Through the whole movie, it's like a serious, dramatic movie, right?
Yeah.
And through the whole movie, I'm like, it's Kylo Ren and Black Widow.
Okay.
Through my
that tracks.
Right. I'm like, I couldn't stop thinking of Kylo Ren and Black Widow. And then I started thinking, if Kylo Ren fought Black Widow, like, how would that go down? Like, I think
you probably handle him a hell of a lot better than this Rey shit that happened. To tell you the truth, to tell you the truth, because like in all essence, the character of Kylo Ren or Ben Solo is like something's mentally wrong with him. That is pretty obvious,
and he loses the girls.
But yeah, but he's a spoiled, rich, privileged brat who thought that everything of the Skywalker, whatever this shit was, he was supposed to get automatically. He literally is a prince,
right? And
in a title, because Princess Leia, that does go down to him. It is passed on to him. Like he just thinks that shit should be that it's already his, so therefore you should acknowledge like a lot of that. So, but I think there's also something mentally wrong with him anyway. So, but I think she would probably be able to, if they were ever in the same universe, she would probably be able to handle him a hell of a lot better than whatever this Rey shit happened, to tell you the truth.
And I gotta call out Funny or Die, because it's like
Funny or Die.
Yeah, it's like come on, man, y'all missed the opportunity. They both were working on that movie. They could have shot a little jokey joke, Kylo versus Black Widow. That'd have been
that was funny.
Hell yeah, that'd be hilarious, man. And it'd be like, come on now, who wouldn't click that? See, they be messing up in Hollywood. They mess up in Hollywood. But anyway,
wonderful opportunities.
I digress. So let's talk about some of these movies that's coming out. Are y'all familiar with this movie called The Invisible Man?
Yes.
I read the little thing. I have no clue what the fuck this shit's about. I just know the original Invincible Man, like black and white shit, to whatever it was that happened in the early 2000s version shit, and that's about in the book Invisible Man. That's about it.
Well, this one stars Elizabeth Moss, and it's a different take on Invisible Man.
It's really different.
It's very different.
Can someone explain it to me?
Okay, so it's basically she is getting abused by her boyfriend or fiance. I can't remember if it was boyfriend or fiance, and he dies, but he leaves her $5 million as long as she's sane, and then she starts being haunted by him, and he's like invisible or something to that effect. But people think she's going crazy.
So it's a fucking ghost story?
Yeah, it's like a ghost story, but it looks really good though. It's like I want to show the trailer. Yeah. I want to show the trailer, but I don't want it to get taken down, so that's why I'm not showing. It's sort
of the ultimate in gaslighting. It's.
You know what, man? Keep talking. I'm gonna.
It's the kind of story that's like, it's what's a good word for this? there are so many stories out there that sort of miss the point of what it is like to interact with a quote unquote monster. And I don't know if the Invisible Man is the right story for them to tell this, but it's an interesting idea that interacting with a monster, he's really a monster. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
You know what?
He's awful.
I'm gonna show it.
All right, show the trailer because I have no context.
Yeah.
As the attorney representing Adrian's trust, I'm required to read a prepared statement. Cecilia, although our relationship was far from perfect, I thought that you would talk to me rather than run away.
Are you okay?
Oh, shit.
What happened to him?
He cut his wrist. Per his final wishes, you're getting $5 million. Contingent, of course, on the fine print.
He can't be ruled to be mentally incompetent.
It just doesn't make any sense.
What?
Adrian wouldn't kill himself.
Listen, you're getting your freedom back, okay? Don't let him haunt you.
Hello? I'm scared.
You don't have to be scared of him anymore.
He was a sociopath, completely in control of everything. He said that wherever I went, he would find me, walk right up to me, and I wouldn't be able to see him.
Are you okay?
Someone's sitting in that chair. I found something that can prove what I'm experiencing. You need help. Adrian is dead. I went to his house today. He's not dead.
I have a pile of ashes in the box that would disagree with you.
He has figured out a way to be invisible.
The only thing more brilliant than inventing something that makes you invisible is coming up with the perfect way to torture you, even in death. Adrian's true genius was how he got in people's heads.
Don't come any closer. Hey!
I'm not crazy. Please listen to me.
You're saying the person trying to kill you is in the room right now, but we can't see him?
He's listening. Where are you? Where are you? Show yourself! Come on! Do it! There you are.
All right. So, what do you guys think?
Well, that's a hell of a way to torture someone. I mean, I'm wondering because this looks like it's a ghost story, or it's taking a very much a sci-fi. It's a sci-fi bent. Maybe the backstory of how this is resolved is that he did find a way to make himself invisible. Invisible, whether it's through some scientific thing or through some occult shit. They can go either way at the end, and that's how he does it.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of thing, because it's like a really advanced poltergeist kind of shit going on, unless there's the scientific part of it bringing brought back. But it's interesting because it's like a choice I guess a lot of people would make in terms of how this is set up. Like, he's abusive. Obviously, that fool is crazy, and then he supposedly slits his wrists, and then here's his lawyer or the executive assistant. He says, "Hey, if you sign this and you can prove that you're not, a whack job, he's going to leave you. You get this $5 million." And that's someone who's been in such an abusive relationship for, I'm assuming they were married and it's a long period of time, is willing to sign that. It's interesting.
Yeah.
How they kind of play with that.
Yeah. I straight up have a problem with this. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for sort of the social justice of it all. I'm all for, the timely telling of stalkers and stuff like that. I am not for convoluting the story of the Invisible Man to turn it into the Lifetime movie of the week. I was stalked by some crazy evil genius. It really, it begs to sort of be explored that this is a kind of exploitation that I don't think the Invisible Man story needs. The Invisible Man story is terrifying all by itself, and I don't quite understand why they felt the need to turn it into something that is I mean, it's not very cinematic. I don't know about you, but I didn't even like that trailer. But secondly, the story itself feels incredibly lacking. Like, okay, I get, the personal relationship between the monster and whoever the person is that the monster has a close relationship with. That needs to be explored. But what we're seeing here is something so far out of the bounds of the story that it just almost doesn't make sense. I mean, it's kind of like making Frankenstein the Lestat rock star and, saying, well, he was just accepted because, hey, that's what it's like in this day and age. And it's like, well, you've taken everything away from the story that made it awesome and turned it into let's have some social justice. I just don't like it.
Well, it's not even the Invisible Man story. Like, it's like, in my mind, for a lot of things, you wind up, I take things as they are for what it looks like, and then you can go back and make the connections. Because in terms of the Invisible Man story, this shit ain't it. Because the Invisible Man story was very much, it was scary and psychological depending on how you play with it. This one is like, we're just using the concept of someone being invisible through some means, whether it's scientific or supernatural, because that's what they don't tell you. And we're going to use that concept, but it's really a movie about someone in a very abusive relationship with some sicko.
Right.
That's what the story is.
And it's also not, the Invisible Man is not supposed to be the story of another protagonist. The story of the Invisible Man is supposed to be the story of the struggle of the Invisible Man. Whether he's a jerk or not, okay, fine, he can be a jerk. I mean, there's plenty where he really has been a jerk and kind of used the power of being invisible to do quite a few things. But that isn't the point. The point is it should really be all about the Invisible Man, not about another protagonist, because then you just completely convolute the story. So I got some problems.
You're right, because with the I guess the beauty of the Invisible Man was the internal conflict and struggle of someone who acquires this power, accidentally, depending on what version you're looking, movie or books, accidentally or intentionally, whatever, and their internal struggle of how they kind of exist and what they choose to do and what's kind of the ramifications for them mentally.
Exactly.
That's what made the story beautiful. But this ain't it. This is not what's happening.
He can still be a jerk. I mean, I think the Invisible Man, by and large, generally kind of is written to be a jerk, and that's totally fine. But they reframed the story and gave us a separate protagonist to root for. So rather than see the struggle of the Invisible Man, whether he's a jerk or not, we're now seeing it through the eyes of somebody else, and it just feels like, I mean, I've seen this a lot lately, and I do understand that, every time we generationally shift, we sort of have to retell our monster stories so that they make sense to the generations that are seeing it. But in this case, we haven't even taken the core of what the Invisible Man is about and turned it into something that is kind of like a cautionary or a timely tale. We've basically just made him your everyday Joe Stalker from You, except you can't see him. And I mean, it's just, I don't know, it bothers me for some reason, because it's not, to me, this is not a monster movie. This is just a guy who used some powers to be an absolute trash heap of a person.
Well, a good movie is Memoirs of an Invisible Man.
It was a good movie. Yeah,
it was a good one. All right, so our next film, Josh, you'll get the first crack at this one, okay?
Cool.
All right. You probably seen this trailer, but you know what? So what? Uh-oh, what the hell?
Yeah.
Why is it doing that?
Okay.
We all believe we'd run into the burning building. But until we feel that heat, we can never know. You do. You chose to die instead of giving up your colleagues. test you passed? Not everybody does. Welcome to the afterlife.
To do what I do, I need some idea of the threat we face.
As I understand it, we're trying to prevent World War III.
Nuclear holocaust?
No. Something worse.
All I have for you is a word. Tell it. It'll open the right doors, some of the wrong ones too.
You have to start looking at the world in a new way.
Don't try to understand it. Feel it.
What'll happen here?
Hasn't happened yet.
All right, Josh, what you think?
Okay, first of all, let me say this trailer is everything The Invisible Man wasn't. Okay, it left you with more questions than answers. I mean, the first time I saw it, I was like, "Is this just like a bigger version of Six Underground or whatever that Ryan Reynolds movie was?" You know, where it's like Welcome to the Afterlife. And then as it rolls on, you get a few cheesy lines in there, and you're like, okay, and then you get that car crash, and you're like, wait, it grabs your attention, and from that point on, you don't know what's going on, and that just makes me want to see it even more because I can't figure out what the movie is other than, okay, it's like a time manipulation, which I love, by the way, action thing. And on my list of most anticipated movies, this is pretty much right there at the top.
Mm. Oh, after the Sonic the Hedgehog movie?
Yes, after the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Okay.
That's important.
All right, what about you, Lauren? What do you think?
Well, of course, I read the premise. This trailer does something that a lot of trailers are not doing, because a lot of trailers are revealing almost the damn near the entire goddamn movie, and what and then they cut and whatever, and kind of do a lot of misdirections about giving you most of the movie. This trailer doesn't give you much of anything other than. Then you see the reverse car crash situation happen when the car is crashed, and then it's like they're driving by, but it's been reversing itself to whatever the original state was. And you're like, oh shit, what's going on with, this sort of thing. And then the guy, they're walking through that scene and gunshots in the window or plexiglass. And, what does he say? He says, oh, this hasn't happened yet. So it's, I know it's like it's prevention of World War III. That's whatever is going on in this movie, preventing World War III, but it's like time travel. So someone is going back in time or whatever to, I guess, hopefully prevent whatever this World War III situation is going to be. So we don't know if we're coming into a movie where it's already happened, or like we're dealing with this is this dimension, and then we're time traveling other dimensions to fix the things that will, my fault. Fuck you, Alexa. Oh, fuck. Anyway, to prevent the stuff that's happening. So we don't know, because it doesn't give you everything, but it gives you enough to be like, hey, you know what? I want to see whatever the second trailer is, or whatever this movie, comes out. Because there's been quite a few movies where they just give us so much of what's going to happen. It's really almost built on how nice the special effects look, a lot of times. So this was kind of refreshing to see a movie that gave us something, but enough more questions than answers, sort of thing.
Before we get to Jen, his father, because that's Denzel's son, right?
Yeah.
His father kind of did a movie similar kind of in premise called Deja Vu. Did you ever see that one? It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't remember it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Somewhat. Not completely, but it had that time you can go back in time and fix things and all that. And it was one of those movies I avoided at first because it just looked like it wasn't going to be a good one. And then someone forced me to watch it, and it was one of those few times where someone forced me to watch something that I actually enjoyed. So, but anyway, so who knows? What if it's like the sequel to that movie? No, I'm just playing. What about you, Jen? What do you think?
So first of all, this is extremely bright for a Christopher Nolan movie.
Right.
Secondly, bright as in like, the lighting. There's actual lighting in it instead.
Oh, it's not pitch black dark.
Yeah. Sorry, that was snarky. I know a little bit about this movie, and I also know that there are quite a few twists and turns, which I won't talk about, but it's a very twisty-turny kind of movie. And so the trailer itself does actually, I think, a lot of credit to the story at large. But one thing that I would caution you about with this movie is it's not what it seems like on face value.
Right.
It is quite a bit different than I think what we are led to expect. And so sometimes that works really well, because people get all excited and there's things to see and, ooh, this is going to be great. And then they get into the theater and there's like, oh, something fabulous is happening. But sometimes it works to the detriment because people get all excited about something that then never happens. I don't think that's actually what will happen here. I think people will actually like the twists and turns, but it's not at what you think it is at face value for sure.
Yeah, because for all we know, we watched the movie and we find out this dude is laid up in a hospital in a fucking coma, and this shit was just...
I really hope that this is not the trope. That would be really awful. If that trope is ever used again, and especially by somebody like Christopher Nolan, I think we all have carte blanche at that point to excommunicate him from Hollywood.
Excommunicate.
We expect more from Christopher.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. Didn't he do the Terminator movies? Oh,
he did the Batman movies.
Oh, the Batman movie. Excuse me, Batman.
Yeah.
Oh, well, hopefully we'll expect more. I don't know what's going to happen because I see the guy. I said, but I could see very much that if they wanted a way out, this turns out this dude was laid up in a hospital because that scene when whatever happened on the train track shit. It's like I can see that happening too, but I don't like to speculate too much on that. But I'm seeing if I sat in the movie and that shit would have happened, I'd be like, oh, well, they did this thing again.
I think you'll like the twists and turns, though.
All right. Okay, so this next movie, Jen, you get the first dibs. And it's something that's coming out, actually, next week.
Is it The Witcher?
No.
I want you to play a game with me, Ray.
I don't want to play a game.
Oh, please.
No.
I said play a game with me, Raymond.
Right.
Lovely. I want you to imagine a character. Your boss, Mickey Pierce.
You're too smart to be blackmailing us, Fletcher.
Sweet Mary Jane is my vice. Your poison, on the other hand, is and always has been the destroyer of worlds.
You're out of touch, and I would like you to consider an offer.
I am not for sale.
The plot begins to thicken. Now, I can't be specific about the heroes and zeros, but our protagonist is a hungry animal. There is a lot of money hanging in the balance. Our antagonist explodes on the scene like a millennial firework and has indirectly started a war.
I think you need to see this, boss.
What's the one of my fireworks? How do they find it?
I'm making inquiries.
His name is Fahak. We'll spell it with a PH, so it sounds like Fahak.
Please!
All right, Fahak, Kanda Fahak.
Please!
If you smell smoke, it's because there's a fire. So you're gonna have to stamp that out quickly.
These people are going to clean house, and you are part of that house.
In the jungle, the only way a lion survives Not by acting like a king. By being the king.
Brilliant.
I've been waiting so long to be where I'm going.
Oh, it's really warming up now, isn't it?
The sunshine on
There's only one rule in this jungle. When the lion's hungry, he eats.
One of her associates had an accident.
So you killed someone?
No, it was the gravity that killed him. Gonna need those phones.
All right, so Jen.
Okay, so a couple things. First of all, I think that Guy Ritchie is crazy. I swear. It's hard not to sort of like look at this movie and go, oh, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Knives Out meets The Italian Job meets some other mobster movie or a mobster movie. I mean, it's the cast looks amazing, right? But is it just me, or do you kind of get like a weird, like maybe they're trying to throw the kitchen sink into this movie?
Yeah. This is kind of like, because Guy Ritchie had a bunch of flops when he was trying to take over, other properties, and this is more like a Guy Ritchie movie.
It does feel like it, except he brought Charlie Hunnam back in. I don't know why.
Well, they're good buddies.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not saying yeah, that didn't come out right. I'm not saying that he's an awesome actor, and I absolutely love him. I am wondering though whether it's such a good match. Did you hear Charlie Hunnam say that he wanted Guy Ritchie to do King Arthur over again? Because he didn't feel like it was the right, that what they had actually planned for the movie wasn't what they actually got. And I can't help but feel like that's sort of the Guy Ritchie story of the past many years. The story that he plans isn't the story that we get. So I'm cautiously optimistic. It looks interesting. I would watch Matthew McConaughey and Charlie Hunnam in just about anything. But I have to wonder whether the story is going to be all that great.
All right, what about you, Josh?
Well, to me, it looks like it's a return to form for Guy Ritchie, giving us the lock, stock, and snatch style again, and that's where he shines. And I think we're going to get a really fun movie. And that's what I've been wanting from him for a very long time now, because I don't think it's been since Snatch where I was like, yeah, Guy Ritchie is a great director.
Right.
And I on my short list of 2020 movies, this is right there with Tenet as far as anticipation. And I think the story is going to be, it's going to be what it is, but it's going to be shot well, and we're going to have a few twists and turns along the way.
What about you, Lauren?
Seems like it will be decent. I'm not such a sort of movie head with different directors and this kind of stuff. Like, this is a movie. I always think about would I pay to go see this movie, because I'm more on the science fiction, fantasy end of things, or action. Like, this is a good movie that seems like a movie I would probably enjoy in my house, in the comfort of my home. Which is probably when it comes on DVD and I'm doing buy a bunch of DVDs, and then we're going to go in the house and we're going to sit and chill and watch. It's probably one of those. But at the other end, I could see it as a movie also that probably I would go see and take my mother, because she likes those types of movies. Like, she really does enjoy it. So this would be like, hey, Mom, I know you like this kind of movie. Let's go see it. She likes stuff like Snatched and all that. Like, but she's more of a movie head, like directors, like, she can go back to like 30s, 40s and be like this, that, and this type of movie. Like, that's her thing. Like, this is something that it looks like offhand that she would really enjoy. It looks pretty decent. That's supposed to be coming out, next week?
Yeah, next week.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Who are they going up against next week?
second week of Bad Boys, pretty much.
Okay. All right. So they might. I don't know if they'll beat up Bad Boys, but they'll be at the top.
Yeah, we'll
they'll be in the top 5 movies probably. But it might actually be a good movie. I'll probably wait. I probably won't. It's not a movie I will see an opening night. I'll probably wait like a few days after and go see it. Myself. But it doesn't look bad. It looks like I will agree with it, Jen. It does look like a movie that wow, this is really like this movie, and the combination of that movie, it really has that feel to that for me.
Yeah.
I watched the trailer. I'm like, damn, this reminds me of this movie, that movie, that movie.
Which doesn't mean it can't be good on its own. I mean, it can have, we know always that, Guy Ritchie always has something kind of tucked up his sleeve. So
there's some little twist and turn in there that's probably really, really good.
Yeah, I'm sure the audience is going to go, oh, when you said that about watching it on TV or, hanging out and waiting to see it in the comfort.
But it's more like different.
Right.
Of movie price, because for me to go to movies is like $40.
But I
for one ticket, so it's like, is it worth my $40 investment to go see this movie versus wait for it to come out in a few months, or wait to come out in like maybe 4 months and be available to watch for rent on Google or whatever for like $2 or $3, and stuff like that. That's how I at this point, because movies are so expensive. It's like, unless I'm a very big fan of that particular franchise and stuff like that, is it worth my $40 investment of buying a ticket, buying the things I like to have in the movie, my transportation, and then later on my my time. So it's a little like if movies were shit ton cheaper, like if I went to a movie that had like a $5 or $6 Tuesday, then it'd be like, all right, cool. I don't care. It's only like investment wise, maybe like $12 altogether or $15 altogether for me. A little bit more than that, yeah, but 20 versus 40 makes a difference.
That's why, Lauren, you just find you a nice little sucker dude and be like, take me to the movies. And he'll be like, yes, Lauren, I'll take you. And that's how you do it. And then you don't have to pay nothing. You're a girl. You don't have to pay for no movies. Girls don't have to pay for weed.
Well, somewhere there are a bunch of producers, and especially the producer for, the trailers that we just saw, and they're crying right now because the last thing that they want you to do is not see the movie in the theater.
Well,
yeah, that's the last thing I want to do.
Fellas out there in New York, stop tripping. Take Lauren to go see this movie.
You put bad press to sleep. Lauren will go out to you only if you will pay for shit like movies.
Like you got to pay for the movie. You got to pay for the food. She wants the Monster Bucket, y'all.
Get the Regal app and get the unlimited movies, and then you can go to the movie whenever you want to.
I could, but then that would require. I live in the Bronx. That would require me traveling into Manhattan. There's a movie theater that's closer to me, which
that's a good point.
Train wise, yeah, it's it's faster. Like I always say, there's 2 different types of experiences depending where you live in New York. Where stratified is like you can go to Regal Theater down in like mid Manhattan or Midtown Manhattan, like around Times Square, 34th Street area. Or further down, and versus you go to the movies like in the outer boroughs or in areas where it's like a heavily populated minority area, and you get 2 different movies experiences some of the times because the demographics find certain things funny and like this is bullshit. So it could, to me, depending on the movie, I like having both experiences because sometimes it's just a very different experience, and it's like that's the experience of the movies. Oh fuck! Oh. This is because I was trying to make sure I got it for this shit.
All right. All right. So here's our last movie, and we'll go Josh first. We were gonna go.
Okay.
Kill it.
Why would I betray you?
We all have our secrets. We just didn't get to yours yet.
The world is arming faster than we can respond.
Where's 007?
I
need a favor, brother. You're the only one I trust for this.
The world's moved on, Commander Bond.
You were 00.
2 years. So stay in your lane. You get in my way, I will put a bullet in your knee. The one that works.
I thought you two would get along.
Name? Bond. James Bond.
So you're not dead?
Hello, Q. I've missed you.
He's the most valuable asset this country has. If you feel yourself losing control,
I'm not going to lose control.
James, you gave up everything for her. When her secret finds its way out, it'll be the death of him.
What is it?
You don't know what this is.
James Bond. License to kill. History of violence. I could be speaking to my own reflection. Only your skills die with your body. Mine will survive long after I'm gone.
History isn't kind to men who play God.
All right. You know, I said Josh was first. Wait, hold on a second.
Okay.
Okay, I love that director. I'm not going to butcher his name. But I love the director, the guy I can barely say his name right. Mm-hmm. He directed the first season of True Detective.
Him.
He did The Beast of No Nations with Idris Elba.
Yep.
He did this movie called Sin Nombre, which was in. I don't even watch movies in subtitles. And thank you, CRU. And he's a very good director, and it looks beautiful. I mean, it looks, cinematic. It looks like he's really kicking some tail. I'm talking about the way it looks, but Spectre looked like it was pretty good too, right? And Sam Mendes, who's a great director, directed that. So we never know what's popping with that. But so okay, Josh. Now that I got that out the way, what do you think?
Right. Well, it's another Bond movie, isn't it?
Yes, man.
I don't think we're treading any new ground here when it comes to what's going on with James Bond. It looks like 25% spy thriller, 75% spectacle, and that's the way I prefer my Bond movies. I like I said, I don't really know what's left to say about Bond other than when they come out, you see them because that's just what you do. I don't know if it's as much anticipation or hype for the story as much as it almost seems like tradition at this point, that you just go. And don't get me wrong, you enjoy yourself, but it's not the same as like a Tenant where you're wondering what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. And I'm not saying their Bond movies are bad. It's just what you're getting, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want? Do you want a Harlem Globetrotters episode? Like it's like, what do you? I mean, because when people say, well, nothing new, it's like, well, what do you want? You want him to go to outer space? Oh, wait, he did that.
Yeah.
Do you want him? It's like, what do you want from James Bond? You want him to? He's like in this one. It's like, I'm quitting to be a spy so I can play basketball. Or it's like he's playing the trumpet or something. So,
yeah, now he's playing the guitar and stuff.
That would be kind of funny.
Country, the Pueblos and all that other shit.
That would actually be low key funny though. Like as a Funny or Die, get on that. He's like, I'm quitting MI6 or whatever.
I've decided to start a ska band.
Oh God.
Although, I saw a more advanced preview of this.
Oh, really?
Longer. There was more stuff in it. And he's got a lot of good speaking lines this time.
Right.
So, I mean, not to say that they're going to change up. Let's face it. Ian Fleming writes formulaic. So every adaptation of an Ian Fleming novel or idea is going to be formulaic. And that's the strength. That's what, Josh was saying. That's the strength. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You just have to walk into it knowing. And to be honest, what I just saw and what I saw in the longer one, it's sort of all about making Bond relevant for whatever time period we're in. And they do manage to do that each and every time. Maybe it's not the perfect situation, but at least Bond continues to evolve based on where we are. There is something to that, which I feel like is pretty important.
Yeah, they call this the Me Too, the Me Too Bond movie.
The Me Too Bond.
Me Too Bond movie. Let's see what happens in it, because I'm a fan of the different movies and the different versions of Bond that go back, because my mother watched those things, and that was her when she was younger. So she always we watched from the different versions of Bond. So I can compare hey, this is how he plays it versus this is how he plays it. This is how they kind of set it up here and stuff like that. Because there's stuff that happened in the Sean Connery Bond that you could not fucking do, and I don't think get away with today in a movie without fucking protest.
For sure. Yeah, yeah.
I love those movies.
You only live twice, yeah.
Yeah, but I love the movies. You would take that and this is what it is now. The loudest piece of the audience out there would be very responsive for that. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen with this one, since they're calling it the Me Too Bond, whatever that's going to mean. So I'm excited. I know it looks good. I have faith in the Bond franchise and what they decide to do with it, and how they've been very good at bringing him to whatever time period we are, whatever that may mean. And I don't care if it's formulaic, because good formulas work, and when they're executed right.
Hey, babies love formula.
So, yeah, baby. Yes, they do.
And we're going to answer your question, CRU, in a minute.
I read a really awesome article from a guy who does cinema scholar stuff. I forgot his name.
Kinte Fergerson.
But no, yeah, Kinte Fergerson. Okay, sure. And he likened James Bond as sort of like a King Arthur story for present day. And the way that he explained it was, he's the chosen one. And the way that we keep retelling the Bond stories based on sort of whatever we have that is timely puts him into the realm of legend rather than just straight fictional protagonist. And I thought that was really interesting, because that's the way that I kind of see Bond as well. He's not moved from, he probably always wasn't, but he's more of, kind of look, the fictional legend of who Bond is almost more important than who Bond really is.
Right. I would agree with that, because it's every generation has this Bond.
And CRU wanted to know who's the best Bond. I say, of course, Sean Connery, the first. The most underrated was Timothy Dalton.
Yeah, Sean Connery, I think, is the best. What's his name? What would you say, Timothy Dalton? Most underrated?
I think he's very underrated. I think I like him a lot. He actually set the tone, I think, for his name starts with Sir. He actually set the tone for Daniel Craig.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
Yeah, so,
I will agree.
But there was something I wanted to say. Oh, before we say goodbye, because we're at the end, the last movie, Spectre, had a scene where, look, Daniel Craig is not a little guy, right?
Nope.
But he's fighting Dave Bautista. And have you ever seen Dave Bautista?
Many times.
Dave Bautista is a mountain.
That's a big ass man. And I like big men.
And I'm sitting there watching this fight, like, I know it's a movie, but damn, I can't make myself go that, like, because he's like, he punches him with all his force, and he like kind of just takes it. I'm like, if Dave Bautista punches you,
you out.
You're done. You're done. Like I think he could kill you with a punch.
Probably.
I think
the right place in the right place with that force.
Look, if Dave Bautista, I'm no punk. If Dave Bautista swung at me and narrowly missed, I'd probably have a heart attack and die. Okay, that dude is huge, and he ain't no joke. He can wrestle. He's a bodybuilder, martial artist. What I'm saying is, when I'm watching that fight scene with Daniel Craig and Dave Bautista, and I'm just sitting there like, every part I'm like, he would die there. He would die there. He would die like, and he ain't missing, like, cause he's like missing a bunch of. I'm sitting there like, Dave Bautista. Okay, you're in a closed space. Your best, if you're the quicker guy, your best chance is to be in a wide open space with a lot of room. He's in a closed space on a train, and I'm like, I don't care. He's not Superman, okay?
Nah.
So yeah, that's why I'm like, come on now, So anyway, Roger Moore is the best Bond other than the current Bond. Okay, Roger Moore. He did flinch though when he shot. He definitely did. But yeah, you know what? Can I tell a little secret?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell y'all a little secret. I actually kind of like Moonraker when I watch it nowadays. I actually have fun with it.
Yeah, Moonraker actually is fun.
It is actually fun. Yeah, I said it. So,
Jaws is one of the best over-the-top villains of all time.
Yes.
Yeah.
This damn shark that has memory and passes memories on and shit and traveling thousands of miles to kill people. That shark's the goddamn best.
Well, not that Jaws. Not Bruce. Not Bruce. The villain
not
Jaws.
The Bond villain.
I'm gonna throw this out there. Jaws was not a villain in Moonraker.
Yeah, he was the hero, wasn't he? Or he was they kind of changed it up. They changed him up.
He was supposed to be, I guess.
Then he found love or something.
Bad guy, and then he found love and got his happy ending.
Right.
But that's the point. That's what I'm making the joke for. He's not really, to me, he's not a villain in there.
It's so funny.
Like, villains don't do that in movies. So at this point, the fucking shark is more of a villain than the damn other Jaws in the movie we're talking about. So I never saw him as a villain.
Yeah. And yeah, that guy was great. Okay, so Lauren, how can we get you social media and all that good stuff?
Okay, all right. So you can, if you dare and are brave enough, you can follow The Box Black Nerd Swag on Twitter and interact with The Box. I'm not responsible for what The Box says, but it could be fun. You can also go to Facebook and follow Black Nerd Swag on Facebook, interact with one of the posts, and then in a little chat bot come up, and you give me your email, you give us your number, and we got some fun shit coming. If you're going to attempt to follow me on my personal Twitter, which I occasionally go on, you will find me interacting with The Box on Twitter, but you'll see me at LB twice on Twitter if you dare to follow me and my shenanigans on that platform as well.
Well, That sounds very J.J. Abrams-ish. The box.
Does it?
The mystery box and all of that. It's
The
just,
box is fun.
yeah, so.
The box is fun.
All right. So since we're running late, they'll, because they're about to do the next couple hours, so they will say what their thing on the next show. But thank you so much, Lauren. If you're around later, please, if you feel itchy to hop in, please do so. You know, we love you here at Indy Radio, and we want you to we want to see a lot of Lauren in 2020.
All right, you shall, as it's 5-something in the morning here, so I can actually. And now I'm too up to go to fucking sleep.
Me and Jen.
But it's too early to really functionally do something.
Oh wait, if you're up for it, maybe you can join them on the next show.
What are y'all talking about?
Well, we're going to start off talking about the Oscars.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, just, have fun with. It'll be fun.
I don't watch the Oscars. I don't know what kind of foolishness happened.
It hasn't happened yet. No, don't worry, it'll be good. All right, so I got to close this out, but I got to give you guys a new link, and then we'll get started. So thank you everybody for being here.
And see you guys later.